If only you knew what we've been through.
Breathe, friend. Breathe. Breathe, 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 breathe. Breathe, 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 breathe.
Happy to be back.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Brown, brown, brown. Take a sip of that wine. Go down the throat.
Yeah. What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of CEO in Rome.
This is yo.
And this is Rome, and this is episode number 53.
53.
This is year number 2.
Yeah, technically this would be season 2, but the way we roll, we keeping it going.
Yeah, so I think I'm gonna upload this as a separate season, but a season's gonna be a year.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? So wow,
that's how we
feels
roll.
fucking great.
Yes, it does.
Before we jump into shit, best podcast of 2018, undisputed.
Undisputed.
If you want to dispute it, shoot us an email at coinrome@gmail.com.
Still waiting on that dispute.
No disputes, dog.
No.
And then, if you want to get yourself a t-shirt or a hoodie, head on over to afgoclothing.com.
Yep, we have a discount code for you guys. Gets you 15% off, and that is Zio and Rome 15.
Yeah, if you get yourself something, let us know. We'd love to feature you on our page.
Yes, we would. Tag us. Let us know.
So, last week we did a live show.
We did, and I had so much fun.
Yeah, we've gotten a lot of positive feedback, and, it's got me thinking, like, we should consider doing this again.
Which we've had lots of ideas and lots of discussions about moving home forward, how that may happen.
The thing I find interesting is that people who may not be down to listen to podcasts because that's just not their jam, I feel like they could enjoy a live show.
For sure. And I actually want to take a moment to thank everyone that took a moment out of their day, being a holiday weekend, and actually came and, showed face and spent some times with us.
Yo, speaking of the party, I'm realizing that in getting older that I'm becoming more of a people watcher.
Oh, yeah.
Which, I don't know. That was very weird seeing me on video, just kind of taking everything in and watching everyone else have a good time. And a lot of it, I was just kind of like laid back, taking it in and just I was just happy seeing everybody else happy.
Yeah.
I don't know, dude. I'm just going through so many changes right now, but it was really, really great. I used to be really like anxious and had a hard time going with the flow because I was such a control freak.
Mm-hmm.
But there was this guy named Billy, Firebender Billy,
Dope,
that was like, I want to spin fire for y'all. And for those of you who left a little bit early, which we don't fault you, it was a very long night.
Mm-hmm.
But we got ourselves quite a treat towards the end of the party. He does like fire dancing, like that Hawaii type shit.
Dope as fuck, though.
In the backyard.
I didn't expect him to do something like that. He was like, hey, I want to do a performance for you guys for your party. Is that okay? And we were like, sure. I was not expecting
He
it.
had the fire shit on him, bro.
Yo, I'm not going to lie. For like a good minute into the show, I thought that he was going to catch on fire and we were going to have some sort of like liability on our hands.
Yeah, I don't need that in my life.
I know.
But after the fire, I'm like, damn, what do you do?
He set the bar high.
How do you like continue to party?
And you figured
after
it out.
fire. And I was like, well, shit, fuck it. Let's do karaoke. And man, the thing that's tricky with karaoke is that if people don't feel comfortable singing, it's not fun. But everybody was just in there having a good time. And a lot of you fellas, I feel like girls are usually more likely to do karaoke, but y'all was doing it like Same Girl.
Yes.
Like a lot of
Donnell Jones. Where I wanna be.
Yeah, there was so much. And I was just like watching, just dying. So shout out to Dante. Who was that? Jordan,
yeah.
44 God, aka Darius, Yaya, like Orta, all y'all that kind of hung out for the karaoke. Yo, there's a video with Jonathan when he was doing Nothing by Nori and Holden Jacks that just has me dying.
Everybody was dying during that video.
Man, good times, good times. So hopefully we'll be doing something soon where more of you can join us. We
more
just
at a
want
venue type of feel.
Yeah, I mean, just super thankful for those of you who have supported us during our first year.
Yep. And here we go.
So listen, I know that the past several weeks I've been like, who gives a fuck about pop culture? Because I got real shit going on in my life.
Yeah. Lots of things happening this week that we can't ignore, though.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, why don't we start kind of in chronological order? I think that's the best way to kind of tackle things.
Okay, but before we get into pop culture, I just want to address something that doesn't necessarily have to do with pop culture, but I want to address anyways. It's been about a year since Hurricane Irma, correct?
Yeah,
This was the month last year that we had it.
I believe so.
And I want to address how, in my opinion, I always felt a little off by the way that President Trump touched how, you guys have been very lucky, very lucky. There hasn't been that many deaths. There hasn't been any of this. There hasn't been any of that, whatever. I want to say that there's a new, there's new metrics that have come out, and the the Puerto Rico death toll from Hurricane Irma has gone from originally being 64 to now, a year later, when the total numbers have come out, they are at 2,975 deaths.
Now, CO, there's been a lot of reports that come up out about some fraudulent or corrupt governmental shit that's actually going on inside Puerto Rico. And it's like, I'm really confused because I'm like, who are we mad at? Are we mad at Trump, or are we mad at what's going on?
Oh, no,
like
no.
Government on a governmental.
Oh, I don't want to take away from.
Rico.
I don't want to take away from the fact that it is an internal inside of Puerto Rico issue as well. But I didn't like that originally. He was like, "Oh, you guys have been good. You guys have been lucky, very lucky. We're not lucky. These are just." Initial numbers that are being given out. And as much as the Puerto Rican government is to blame, I feel like there's definitely a lot more that them being a U.S. territory, we could have done for them.
Absolutely. I guess the thing that frustrates me is that why did it take so long for the real numbers to come out, and
who knows?
And that's just kind of fucking whack.
That's a big difference to me, though. That's a big difference. Almost 70 to almost 3,000. Come on.
That's fucking crazy.
And they're still not completely up to par.
And the thing is that, like, obviously we have ties to Puerto Rico, but there were islands that were basically like so much more torn apart. So then imagine how many more deaths in the Caribbean.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's just like whether or not you're a U.S. territory, you would expect a certain level of humanity and recovery efforts and things like that. We see it all the time, but it is sad that Puerto Rico probably the whole execution of relief, regardless of whose fault it is,
it was a poor execution.
Whack, yo.
Yeah, deadass. I just wanted to put that out there because I feel like number wise, when you hear that, it's almost like wow, wow. Yeah,
I mean, I haven't heard of anyone in my family personally that I've lost in a hurricane. How about you?
I have not. Then again, I only have probably a handful of people that still live in Puerto Rico.
Yeah, same here.
My dad being one, and he was fine. But I do know that a lot of people went without light for a really, really long time.
Yeah,
really long time.
Well, we'll keep those
keep them in our prayers for sure
that are affected by this.
All right, on to pop culture.
All right. So I'm going to kind of do this in chronological order, but kind of not.
Okay, I know we have a lot of the same notes because of that, so we'll just feed off of each other.
Okay, first of all, let's just pay our respects. R.I.P. Mac Miller. I know that's not in chronological order, but I guess it's the most important. This kid was 26 years old.
He was a baby.
And I have to say that I wasn't a Mac Miller fan.
I respected his flow. I didn't necessarily.
I'm really not familiar with his work.
He was okay. He was good. He wasn't a bad. For this generation, he was probably one of the good. The good ones.
I did see a video that Rook posted of him like performing at NPR Music. It's kind of like a library setting, and I was really impressed by that performance.
Yeah, he was
alone.
He was super decent.
He had a little bit of a gift. You know what I'm saying? And there was some soulfulness into that, and I could tell that he was a lover of music based off some of the things that I saw, and that's appreciated because there's this narrative that the young generation doesn't know and doesn't appreciate real music,
right?
And I don't feel like that was the case with him. He never came off as someone that I felt was a just very violent person that was just attacking people, Lyrically, he just kind of seemed like he was always in his own lane, and he seemed like a lover of everything, like a lover of all.
As a whole. But it also makes you question seeing someone and interpreting them that way and reading them that way and then wondering, when it comes to this, like what kind of internal demons people are actually struggling with that they don't speak about.
Because watching him on video, it seems like he has good energy
And he's so
and
happy. Yeah, and he's so, and now think about being so happy. And now I always like to think when things like this happen, what this person is like when they actually like are alone, when they're actually to themselves.
The thing that I found interesting was a post from Little Yachty, who's Ugly God on Instagram.
Correct.
And he said that, you know, when homie like dropped his album the same time as Astro World, there were a lot of trolls like, oh, no one's listening, no one fucking cares about Mac Miller, yada yada. And Little Yachty said that Mac Miller said to him like, you know, if I bet you if I died tomorrow, then these niggas would act like
They were always, I was always on their like
like
sound
that they
wave.
didn't
Yeah.
say any of this negative shit they were saying about me. And
And that's exactly what happened.
yeah, I would say as a friend it would be hard to hear that and then to see that what happened. I don't know what the drug of choice is. It just keeps saying apparent overdose, and that it seems like someone did a sweep of his apartment before police were able to kind of do their full-on investigation.
As expected.
This just happened a few days ago.
Right.
So time reveals all things typically. So more to come on that. On a lighter note, I must say that this was an interesting week for white rappers.
For Mayo.
Mac Miller being one of them. Not that that's funny, but I'm just saying, how often do you hear white rappers being like back to back, like hot topics of the week? It's
not very often.
I mean, they're a minority.
Yeah.
When it comes to that shit.
For sure.
So obviously we talked in the last episode a little about Eminem's Kamikaze.
Yes.
I have since had a chance to listen to the album.
I'm so glad you finally listened. What did you think?
I mean, I just feel like I was assaulted by the dictionary.
Well,
like someone took the big fat ass Webster's dictionary and just fucking threw that shit at me, man.
But
skillfully.
Do you well executed? Do you feel that you expected anything different from him? Because he's always been
yes.
You did expect something
I
different.
did. I mean, because you have to think about it. It's like I know what he's capable of.
Correct.
But in terms of the consistency and the quality of his work, there has been none. It's been very inconsistent. So it's very difficult to expect a great body of work when his last few bodies of work really weren't that great.
Right. But I guess where you're comparing it to the last bodies of work, I'm comparing it to the M I Remember back in the day.
I just feel like I know the capability is there, but writer's block is a thing. And
right.
Like sometimes it's just a conversation of did he lose it?
I didn't ever doubt that was no longer there. I always knew that I don't think that he's probably given enough credit for the intellect that he actually is.
I give it to him, but it's just like some people, they can just never get back to what they were.
No, I get that.
So that's why I never put myself in a position to expect old M.
Okay.
But that nigga done showed up, and I actually think I like it better.
Okay.
Because it's like while he did have some vulgarities, it did seem more mature. It wasn't
he's pushing
like
50, I would hope so.
Yeah, it seemed more mature, and then we're older now, so it's like I could appreciate it in a new, different way. Let me tell you what I enjoyed from an artistic standpoint.
Okay.
The transition between nice guy and good guy, man, I'm just getting chills. Like something about those two songs, they weren't the best lyrically, but it was like, wow,
there was
he
a
carefully
feeling behind it.
Yes, he carefully mastered it. And it's weird because he's talking about being with this hoe and how emotionally he's kind of maybe has a thing for her, but that she's a whore, and it's just
he's
like
battling himself.
Yeah, and my thing is like I can't really relate to this, but it's like I'm just saying personally, like
you've
in
been
this
with
moment,
some hoes before back in the day.
Yeah, but I just feel like the song wasn't like I was listening to the words and was like, damn, like this means so much to me. But everything from the beat to who is it, Jessie Reyes that was singing on it, everything, it was just like so carefully put together from an artistic standpoint. It wasn't just throwing shit on a beat, and I was like, okay, I appreciate that.
Correct.
The Ringer just out the gate was crazy. The Greatest,
did you like that one?
Amazing.
What did you think about Lucky You with Joyner Lucas?
Loved it. And man, it's just great to see that Joyner is getting the attention he deserves.
And honestly, I like when Joyner first came into the game, and he wasn't necessarily highlighted the way that I thought his capabilities should have highlighted him to. I always linked him to M in my mind because he's a storyteller when he raps.
Yeah.
So I can see how I could see how M was probably one of his, inspirations, one of the people who he listened to growing up. I saw that link, and to see now him work with M, I feel like that's dope as fuck.
That's a good point, because that one music video that he has about the kid, that there's a story being told from two different perspectives.
Yes. The
and
shooter.
the kid gets shot.
Yes.
It was based on a true story.
I think it's the name Andrew Capiccioli.
Something like that.
Yes.
That whole thing just seems like it's in M's wheelhouse.
Absolutely.
So it's really nice to see them partner. The Paul skit was very nostalgic to what's happened with Paul before.
Yes.
Really, really nice. The Not Alike, I believe that's the one where he disses MGK.
Yes.
Not Alike. And just others. But the thing is that this is a good segue, actually. The MGK diss, to me, was subtle. Because he was like, we all know who the fuck you are, Kelly. Like, it was just subtle, It was just like a few bars.
Oh, you mean M to MJK?
M to MGK.
Okay.
So those bars were just like subtle jabs,
Where you would think that only a few select people would catch on.
Exactly.
Okay.
Meaning that if you're not closely paying attention, you don't really understand the history.
Hip-hop head.
You're not going to pick up on what's happening. So with that said, MGK did not hesitate to respond
quickly
to M's bars. And let me describe the scenario. I was cutting my weave out of my hair.
Yes, please put this together for everyone.
I'm cutting my tracks, and then Ceo's brother says, yo, did you hear this MGK disc that came out this morning? This was on Monday. And then he goes,
we were still hungover from the night before.
Yeah. And I'm like, MGK disc? He's like, yeah, he's coming back at M. So I'm like, yo, let's listen to this shit. So we're listening to the fucking song, and I'm just like, nigga, I want to throw my phone on the floor.
I think at one point I got up from the couch and ran around the house.
Yo, I mean, wow, like multiple bars. The whole song was about M.
This nigga at one point said, you're pushing 50, your knees hurt. Well, the real Slim Shady can't stand up.
He was saying like, yo, you're responding to a tweet I made in 2012. Like,
it took you 6 years.
The thing that I loved about MGK's diss is that while it was not lyrical, like Andrew Scholes like said, like MGK is like a 1-2 syllable kind of guy. Like he's really not. His vocabulary really isn't.
He's not
there.
the Webster's the way that M is, but you can see and feel what he's saying.
Which I feel like it's okay because some rappers are punny.
Yeah,
like super duper flow is a whole different thing. But I was just like, he was just very straightforward. He was picking on him because of his age, but the most beautiful thing of it is that he was acknowledging that you're good, but don't fucking try me, bro.
Not only just that, but he also admitted in his diss towards M that he looked up to M. Mm-hmm. That M is the king that everyone knows that he is. So he's like still low key giving him props. But he's also saying he's portraying M, which, listen, I understand. He's portraying M as this old head who is now shitting on the younger generation because he feels some type of way. Mm-hmm. And he's like, at the end of the day, you're a millionaire sitting on all of this fucking sitting in this sheltered bubble that you've created, and you're not letting anyone else eat.
Yeah, and he's just basically like just chin checking him.
Pretty much.
And I mean, I get it.
I respect that.
Respect that. And he also dropped a video, World Star Hip Hop exclusive. Listen, the only thing that I'm upset the same fucking day.
That's fucking I can't.
M still hasn't responded, and tomorrow will be a week.
No, he responded.
He did?
He responded.
Well, I'll let you take over from there, but before I move on, I would just say that the only thing that I'm upset about with the Machine Gun Kelly diss is that he didn't put it on streaming platforms, because he could have made so much money from that shit.
A lot more money.
Like, dude, so many streams, none of it's on Spotify.
Yeah. M did respond.
Tell me about it.
And he responded with something called I think it was the next day actually, which I said when I heard that when we were listening to the MGK, I said M has 24 hours. If he does not respond, I don't want to hear anything about this because he's too lyrical for us to not hear something with him for 24 within 24 hours. He actually responded with something that said with a track that was named fuck rap devil. And he
That wasn't. I promise you, I found the original to that.
no.
I swear to God. I swear to God, I found the original to that. It's from like 2013 or something like that. That is not someone conjured that. Those are bars for a totally different
Are
rapper.
you fucking serious?
I responded to you and I told you, dude.
I'm so mad right now.
I tried to tell you. I tried to tell
What?
you. Let me go through the text messages.
No, I don't want you to. Let's just continue.
Okay.
Listen. Okay, I take that back. So M still hasn't responded. M still hasn't responded. But that is definitely something. Do we even really want him to respond at this point?
I need him to.
I want him to, but does it matter?
I just feel like you start shit. This new young nigga, he's not that new. This younger nigga chin checked you. Now you need to dedicate a whole body of work and just put him out. I ain't got nothing against MGK, but I'm just saying from an entertainment standpoint, I want to see a lyrical miracle. You understand me?
But my thing is this. Like, this makes me excited. And not because I low-key like beef, but because it brings me back to a point in time where this was music.
Mm-hmm.
This was hip-hop. We grew up in a time where Pac and Biggie were constantly coming at each other. Beanie Siegel was coming. Like, we were constantly.
It's entertaining, dog.
Yes. There's not, like, we don't always have to take it to the streets. Let's take it to the studio and diss each other on that type of level.
Word.
If there was podcast beef, I would dedicate a whole episode to ripping on someone. No?
That might happen soon.
Well, with that being said, Joe decided to not come back in bars or a track.
So just to touch on it lightly, Eminem had some things to say about Joe Budden. This was mentioned during our live show last week.
Correct.
So Seal's going to fill us in on Joe's response, doll.
So Joe decided to listen to the album. It was actually his birthday when it dropped. And he claims on his podcast that he woke up at 3 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
and he had about 700 mentions on his Twitter.
Okay.
And at first he was like, what the fuck is all this about? But then he remembered that it was his birthday. So he thought originally from, that it was just a lot of people wishing him a happy birthday.
Mm-hmm.
So he didn't think anything too much about it. When he started reading some of them and going through some of them, he realized that they were talking about dissing him on a new album that was a surprise drop called Kamikaze. So Joe started to listen to it. And at first, during this podcast, Joe started off with nothing but love, which I appreciate Joe for. He started with nothing but love. He was like, M's good, a good lyricist. I was really happy about this album. Everything about it made me remember why I loved M to begin with, so on and so forth. Then it got real. Then Joe started talking about, since things want to be exposed, we're going to expose them. He started talking about how when he was on Slaughterhouse and was signed under M, in comparison to the rest of his peoples that was in the same group, he was more of the industry nigger, so he started seeing things differently. He was like, this nigga never is around. Every time we submit tracks, they come back different. The beat is different. We never get to talk to this nigga. It was just a lot of shit going on. Joe started to say, maybe we're this nigga's toy. Maybe he uses us for inspiration. Maybe he's listen, Joe was spitting some fucking truth. And I have a clip of something that I want to play that struck a chord with me. Because although Joe is the nigga that always wants to say something, I respect
super
him.
Emo.
Yeah, he's super emo. He's always in his feels. He always has some conspiracy theory about why he never made it and shit like that. But I can only say something's real when I feel it in my fucking bones, bro. And what he said was real as fuck. And I'm going to play that for you guys right now so that you guys can see. Give me a second.
You tried to sing it, so you tried to hide it. You don't sound very confident. How can you also be that guy and then talk about how you not like somebody? You right, you not like me, M. I don't move nowhere without my niggas. When I make a bag, my niggas make the bag. I'm looking around at niggas close to niggas. I'm not judging niggas as rappers no more. I'm past that. I'm retired, baby. I'm judging niggas as men. What kind of man are you? Don't tell me on your
Whoa.
Yikes.
Interesting.
Do you
I like grown man beef.
I love grown man
Because the
beef.
thing is that, like, Tupac and Biggie were young men in their 20s that were hot on fire.
I don't think people realize how young Biggie and Pac really were. That wasn't necessarily grown man beef. Those were kids.
Mm-hmm.
Joe Budden right now and M, that's grown man beef. And I'm sorry, even though M may feel some type of way, Joe may feel some type of way, regardless of who this was aimed to, what Joe said was real as fuck. To me personally.
Yeah.
I'm going to judge you like a man. What kind of man are you?
Yeah. I dig that. Speaking of beef, just want to quickly touch on the fact that the Drake and Meek Mill beef
It's over.
is over. For those of you who have been out of the loop, the beef started in the summer of 2015.
Yeah, I did.
And I guess Drake was at a concert, brought Meek Mill out, hugged each other up. Shit's Gucci.
And as of today, they showed that Drake and Chris Brown followed each other on Instagram.
Yes.
It looks like the men are working all this situation out.
These hoes ain't loyal. Yeah.
They all have Nicki and Rihanna as a linkage to each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Wait, how's Nicki linked to Chris Brown?
No.
Okay.
Drake is linked to Meek. Drake is a hoe. Now, if you think about it,
Yeah.
Jennifer Lopez, Rihanna.
I mean, he's pretty boy Drake.
I don't know. I can never. No. It's just weird. It's just weird.
Man, let's not get into that.
Yeah, that's not.
So let's talk a little more beef.
Okay, please do.
The moment we've all been waiting for has finally occurred. Cardi gets into it with Nicki Minaj at a Harper Bazaar party. For those of you who don't know, I
and
think
Ra Ali.
yeah, either Fashion Week has just concluded or it's still going on. But long story short, Cardi feels a way about Nicki liking comments that question her mothering skills. I guess Cardi went to approach Nicki at a table, and it is said that it kind of seems like they already had a plan in place that in the event that Cardi approaches this table, squad the fuck up. Like, Cardi gets elbowed and has a big, like, chichon on her fucking forehead.
Yep.
Ra Lee somehow got caught up in the mix, but it seems like Nicki wasn't touched during the whole thing and was sitting pretty through it all. She wasn't about that smoke. But Cardi was ratchet Cardi, did not disappoint, and was like, say something about my fucking kid again. Come here, bitch.
This is what I have to say about that. Listen, I let people be giving this hype to this celebrity life, this famous life, talking about what they would do, what they wouldn't do, how they would behave, how they wouldn't behave, all of this good stuff. But let me tell you something right now before I pop off as far as making it big. Because I know I'm going to pop off.
I have a question, so that's probably going to add to the fuel of the pop
okay.
off.
Yeah. I don't care how big I get. I don't care what kind of level of famous I reach.
Okay.
I'm going to let you know right now. Cardi said, when I see you, bitch, it's on sight.
Okay.
Now, coming from a girl from the Boogie Down herself, when I say, when I see you, it's on sight, no celebrity in this, no bodyguards on this, nothing's going to stop me from making it pop off. You talked about you did what? You talked, what? Oh, I could risk all of this in a second, in a New York minute. You see what I did there?
That was good.
That was good. In a New York minute, bitch. Nothing. I give no fucks. Talk about my baby again. See what the fuck happened. And what made it funny to me when I was watching the video, because we were trying to find videos, all angles, all types of stuff. When Cardi was like, come here, bitch, come here. Nicki was like, I'm going to stay right here. Good job, Nicki. I'm glad that you stayed right there. Because Cardi is that type of bitch that you know what? She can be ratchet. But one thing I respect about her is that she keeps it real. Basically, like, she's not trying to showcase no, like, facade on how she really is, not because she's famous and she got a little money. She's like, nah, nigga, I'm still from the hood. I'm still gonna let it be known. You talking about my baby. You talk about shit that is I find disrespectful. It's on motherfucking sight.
Yeah.
My question to you is this, though. Before you ask me a question that may reveal my hood even more.
Okay.
If there was to be a Nicki and Cardi, like, show off, like, they really got to put hands on each other, who you got money on?
Physically?
Yeah.
Cardi.
All day, my nigga.
All day.
All day. Nicki looked like she got too caught up in the hype of the celebrity, and she's way too cute to be touched. She wants to depend on her bodyguards, blah, blah, blah. I think that Cardi is like, she might bite her. You know what I'm saying? Like, she's like, rah.
Yeah, I could tell Cardi don't care.
Yeah. I got money on Cardi all day, too.
Yeah. You know, my question was just going to be, like, you know, I feel like as women, we want, like, this equality, yada, yada, yada. You know, the dynamic here is that you're a mom. Cardi's a mom. Someone's questioning her mothering skills, maybe talking about a kid. And that's like, oh, no. That's not allowed. You know, I feel like when men beef in rap or whatever, like, it's like, oh, nothing's off limits when it's come to rap beef. So my question for you is, when it comes to female rap, should there be a limit?
Absolutely.
Why?
Because
with men, it's no limit.
I don't care, though. We're known to be more of emotional creatures. We're known to have more feelings connected to certain things, and women are just naturally known as nurturers. So when you're questioning my mothering skills, which is a nurturing trait, I feel like you're judging me you're judging me on all different levels, as a person, as a mother, as a human, as all types of things. So it's not necessarily you're just and then you're talking about my kid that can't defend themselves. So it's like mama bear. Oh no, it's a motherfucking rap. I'm going for the jugular.
Yeah.
There should be a limit.
I really want to see this carry over to the music.
Well, I really wish that women could actually do the same thing that MGK and M are doing right now, where they're like dissing each other on tracks. I want Cardi to drop a track. Okay, beat her ass afterwards, but still drop a track where you're probably shitting on her and she don't got nothing else to say. Because let's be completely honest with you. What bar lately in a track has Nicki dropped that makes you feel like, wow?
I want to hear Nicki be like, bitch, I made you mad at Harper's Bazaar.
I stayed right there.
Like, I'm just waiting for some cornball fucking bars from this bitch.
I don't know.
And then I know Cardi's going to hire someone to write some fire bars, so that won't disappoint.
I don't give a fuck.
Partisan Fontaine,
I'm
you
not
better, Partisan Fontaine, you better be writing some fucking fire ass bars.
My thing is this. Like, listen, I as far as like the ghostwriting thing goes, I don't necessarily co-sign on the fact that people should have ghostwriters, but I am of the belief that regardless of whether or not rappers have ghostwriters, I do think that it's all about the delivery of those bars.
For sure.
So, you know, the person who's the ghostwriter probably can't deliver the bars the way that Cardi could, or the way that, who else is told to have a ghostwriter? Drake. Or the way that Drake does. Like, at the end of the day, we have to give credit where credit's due. And if those aren't his bars, but he's delivering it that way, or those aren't her bars and she's delivering that way, listen, it's all about the entertainment, and she's giving it to me, honey.
I'm trying. I really want it. That's all I'm saying.
I get it.
I don't like to see people fighting, and I don't want anyone to die, but I do want to be entertained.
Me too.
So, do you have anything else on pop culture? Because following pop culture, I have like 4 separate notes.
No, I only got 2. None of them is pop culture.
All right, very cool. So, I'll start off with this one. This is sexual, so giving you guys a warning.
Yes.
I like sex.
I love sex.
So, I was having lunch with a friend of mine, and she was telling me how she's never had anal sex before.
Wait, what?
Yes.
No.
She's never had anal sex before.
How old is she?
She's older than me.
What is wrong with her life?
I mean, it's just not everybody's jam, bro.
I understand, but she has to have at least tried it.
She's never, ever, ever, ever tried it.
I feel so bad.
So I told her, like, if you're going to try it, you really got to prepare for it, right? So I was having also a conversation with you
Yes.
about this, right?
Yes.
Because I was reflecting on an anal sex situation that I was in
Correct.
once.
Correct.
And man, I was so in fear for my life. So I'll tell you guys the little story. The story is that someone took me to Applebee's and I smashed a whole plate of fucking boneless buffalo wings, right? Smashed the whole plate. Now, I'm on my rag at the time, right?
Mm-hmm.
And homie knows I'm on my rag. So after Applebee's, we're chilling or whatever, and he just was so horny that he found himself trying to have anal sex with me.
Okay.
I thought he was going to try to fuck on the rag, which I was going to be like, okay.
You running red lights on me? That's the type of level you
Life on the
want?
edge.
Okay.
But then when I saw that he was going to go to the back door, I was like, whoa, what are you doing? And he kind of like got in, but like my butt clenched so bad because I just ate a whole thing of boneless buffalo wings. And I'm like, no, this could be really bad. So I asked him, I'm like, yo, have you done this before? And he was like, nah. I was like, oh, baby, baby, baby. Like, no. Like, I really gotta put you onto this, and I don't need our first time to be a negative experience because you would hate me forever. I mean, I've had a negative experience with that before. I'm not going to say any names, but you listen to podcasts and you know who you are.
Oh my God.
In more recent times.
Oh my God. I can't.
But the point I'm making is that I didn't even know the rules to this shit, you know? And I feel like I did it quite a few times, was successful. And then I had this one time that I was like, oh, shit. Literally. How did this happen?
I can't with you, bro. I cannot.
So this got me thinking, like, for those of you who haven't had anal sex, who don't have enough experience with this, there is an article on 9 things you should know before having anal sex. And since this is an educational show, I just thought I would take this opportunity to educate the youth.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Yeah, of course.
Because you haven't had this problem.
I have not. I don't know why.
And because you
I'm-
haven't had this problem,
I'm
I don't want
super
you to
blessed.
I don't want you to go to Applebee's and then have someone ram you in the ass and then have a situation. So I think we could all benefit from this.
Okay, fine.
Because I don't even know what the 9 tips are. I didn't read them before
Oh,
the
you
podcast.
just put it on there.
I just copied the
Okay.
link and I'm like, I'm just
Let's
going to be
hear
surprised
it. Let's
with
hear
everybody.
it. I'm going to commentate accordingly.
Okay, A Beginner's Guide to Anal Sex, written by Ben Henry with BuzzFeed.
Okay.
Shout out to BuzzFeed. 1. The solo anal expedition. If you're going to have anal sex with somebody else, it might be best to try exploring yourself first. You want to buy a new car without giving it a test drive first, right? So he's saying that basically use some toys, use your finger, just explore your ass by yourself before bringing another person into the situation.
Why can't you just be having sex and have the dude stick his finger in your ass?
What if poop comes out, CO?
I've never had that happen. Like, that's not,
Okay.
how big is his finger?
CO, poop is poop.
It doesn't matter.
What if you're prairie dogging and don't know it? What if you're the
I'm
one
gonna
step
know if
before?
I'm prairie dogging.
What if you're like one step before prairie dogging and
That's
don't know?
never happened to me.
Okay.
I'll take a finger in the booty.
Put your own finger in your booty. Is
I
step
don't
number
want
1.
to. I like other fingers in my booty.
Okay. Number 2, know your shit. So
I was about to spit my wine everywhere.
it says, excuse the pun.
Oh my God.
It's time to get scientific and look at the butt in more detail. An ass includes an external and internal sphincter. The external sphincter can be squeezed and released voluntarily, while the internal sphincter works involuntarily and on reflex. If you ever tried anal you explored your own ass, what you should do, you You might notice that you naturally clench when something goes in. So, I do have to say something very important. I'm just trying to make sure that these other
Just say it.
okay. What I've found with anal sex is that if you have like a bullet, like a vibrating bullet, and you put that on your clitoris while someone's giving you anal sex, dude, that shit is magical, and it somehow like balances, it like builds up adrenaline to where you don't really feel the pain and the pressure from the anal sex.
Yeah.
Can you relate to this?
I don't use a bullet, but
No,
yeah.
clitoral stimulation.
Yeah, for sure.
Clitoral stimulation while you're having anal sex
Is
makes
everything.
a world of difference.
Yeah, for sure. Like, you don't even realize that
you don't
it's in
even
the
realize that
anal
someone
cavity.
is in your asshole.
Exactly. It's like, it doesn't even, like, it's such a close proximity that it's almost like this stimulation, it still makes this feel like a good situation.
Like, I don't know. I didn't realize it until I did it on accident one day.
What?
I did it on accident, and I was like, wow, this went from unbearable to very enjoyable
Now,
with 2 vibes.
okay, so proceed with the numbers, because I have a question
Okay.
off of that.
I'm just going to finish my thought on that. That
Okay.
I looked it up.
Uh-huh.
Like, if clitoral stimulation has
It's a thing.
effect on anal sex, and
For
it is
sure.
there's so many articles on
For
it.
sure.
So it's not just me. Okay. Number 3, be aware of what you're eating.
No boneless spicy wings.
No. It's that, let's be honest here. We all know what comes out of an ass, which is why a lot of people worry about the same thing. Will I shit myself? The short answer is no. So as long as, nigga, why you lying?
It's not a lie.
Nigga.
It's not a lie.
Nigga.
Whatever.
I'm speaking from life experience,
As
bro.
am I.
Nigga, no.
As am I.
Nah,
Well, okay.
son.
All right. Whatever.
Okay. Let me just finish this fucking shit. The short answer is so as long as you follow a couple of guidelines. Okay, it says the answer is no if you follow these guidelines.
Okay.
The basic principle is to be careful what you eat before you have someone knocking at your back door. So, tucking into gas-inducing foods like onions, chickpeas, broccoli, cauliflower is not going to add to the experience. The valid question is why should you have to monitor what you eat so you can have anal sex? You don't have to. By all means, go ahead and have a sloppy burger for lunch and a curry for dinner. Just make sure your sheets aren't white. And food is more of a judgment call on your end. If you feel comfortable, go full steam ahead, bend over, get fucked in the ass. That's not what it says, but I'm just summarizing. Listen, I know in the gay community, and I'm talking about gay male community where they have anal sex, I've heard of like, oh, I'm going to get fucked tonight. I'm going to be eating ice chips all day because they want to avoid
Any
a messy
accidents.
situation.
Right. I've heard that. I'm not going to front. I've heard that.
So don't eat boneless buffalo wings at Applebee's before getting fucked in the ass.
Yeah.
That's my advice.
I agree. My question to you was, wait, are those all 9?
No.
Go ahead. Continue.
4, you wouldn't serve dinner on a dirty plate. If you know you're going to receive dick in your butt, you need to make sure you're clean unless you're into that shit. Sean
Some niggas
points
is
out,
into that shit.
Really?
Some niggas is into that
oh,
shit.
2 girls, 1 cup.
Ew.
Sean points out that there should only be poo in the anal cavity when you actually need to go to the toilet. So cleaning can be really easy. Simply empty your bowels first. Give the whole area a good wash with warm water. Wipes are also very handy to have nearby.
I'm a big advocate on wipes.
Yeah. And it says if you're still not entirely confident that you're clean down there, and douching is another option.
Ew, no.
I'm not going to read that whole thing, but that's that. Number 5 is lube. I don't really need to get into that. Lube, use lube if you can. Number 6, it says don't go in dick first. So it's like if you have smaller tools and like it's your first time having anal sex, it's probably smart to play with some smaller objects first to kind of open yourself up.
Mm-hmm.
It says dick, meat, butt. That's number 7. Once you've done the foreplay and the both of you are comfortable, it's time for penetration. Don't fucking rush. Listen, you can't rush into my asshole, or
Bruh.
I'm punching you in your fucking face.
No. There's a secret.
Okay.
There's a secret. So, like, when the dude is trying to put his penis in your butt, you have to, well, me personally, you have to make, I say this like I've had, anyways, whatever, right? So you have to literally keep your hand, like, on his thigh, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because, and this is speaking as if you guys are in, like, the doggy position.
So your hand goes on his thighs.
So your hand goes on his thighs behind you. And you are allowing the amount of dick that's going in your ass. Meaning,
how is he hitting it, from the back?
like if you're in doggy style,
okay,
right? And like he's trying to put it in, your hand is behind you, and you are allowing, so you're releasing as you're feeling that it can go in.
And plus, if you're in doggy and he's going too fast, you could simply lean forward.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then once you feel like, okay, this has reached a
Okay,
limit,
this is too much dick.
then you can push back. Or if it feels fine, then you can release the hand.
Or you can push up on it if you want some more.
Exactly. And he can take your lead.
Yeah, doggy is probably a good way to start.
That's a good way to start. And a very important trick is, guys, well, not guys, but girls or guys, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever you're into.
Okay.
The real ultimate secret is to not be too in your head.
Mm-hmm.
Because the more relaxed that you are, the easier of a process it is.
I feel like whoever's taking the dick needs to relax.
For sure. Relax.
Relax those bowels.
Take that. What?
Relax your bowels.
If you relax your bowels, you're going to shit.
No, but if you ain't got shit in there, if you follow the steps,
I can't.
you take a
just need
shit and then clean your asshole.
To me, it's never been that serious. To me, it's almost like...
Just because you're a fucking pro anal sexer doesn't mean that we don't need...
I'm not a pro anal sexer. I've had anal sex, but I'm not a pro at it.
Just because you've had nothing but
positive
successful
experiences.
anal experiences doesn't mean that people like me don't struggle.
Okay, you're right. You're absolutely right.
I have struggled so much.
Oh my God.
No, I'm just kidding. Okay, I have struggled so much. All right, communication. The most important thing about trying anal sex is communication. So whoever's on the receiving end needs to constantly give feedback on how it's feeling. CO just covered that, so very good. And step number 9, anal sex is fun, so enjoy it.
Anal sex is fun.
It shouldn't be a chore. A lot of preparation and effort can go into it, but ultimately, if you're making the decision to do it, just try to have fun with it.
Yeah, it's fun.
It can be.
It can be. It can
with the
be
right
fun.
partner.
Yes. I think that you need to be... You can't do it with just anyone.
Yeah.
Because if you're not comfortable with that person, then you're not going to get to the state of relaxation that you should be in order for it to be an easy process.
Word.
Church to that.
What you got over there, man?
I have a question for you.
Yes.
Is revenge versus giving someone a taste of their own medicine the same thing, and or what is different?
Not the same thing.
Not the same thing.
Nigga,
Okay.
definitely not.
Please explain, friends.
Nigga, giving someone a taste of their own medicine is taking a page out of their book.
Okay. But most people would interpret that as revenge because they'd be like, oh, you trying to get back.
It is an element of revenge.
Okay.
But having revenge is one-upping a person, or it could be straight throwing the whole fucking Webster's dictionary at their fucking head. And like for me, if I'm going to seek revenge on a person, which I'm not that type of person.
Yeah.
I'm not that type.
What makes you that type of person?
You'll just have to really catch me in a psychotic rare form.
Okay. All right.
Which lately, wow, I've been
You've
really
been doing good.
Yeah, you would have to catch me in psychotic rare form. But I'm going to be like, nigga, you tried me. I'm about to show you.
That's revenge.
I'm about to show you who the real monster is. I'm going to show you how to do it, my nigga.
Yeah.
You want to try to play a nigga? I'm going to show you how to play nigga. And then you going to know not to ever in your fucking life fuck with me again. Giving someone a taste of their own medicine is tit for tat. You do this to me, well, I'll do this to you. No. Real revenge is evil. Yeah. It's not a game.
It's a game.
It's not a fucking game with me.
It's a game, but it's a game. No. I get how you're saying
it's not a fucking game.
Because I know how you're saying that. So it's like, it's not a game, bitch. I get that. But it is a game because it's like, you know, okay.
It's not a game because I don't want to see no more back and forth. Once I do what I do, this shit better be over.
Done and over with. I get it. And like, Okay, so for all of our listeners, Rome knows me probably better than a lot of people out here. So I have this way about me where I can be pretty serious at times when I'm angry, but there's this one thing that I do when I'm like really crazy angry, and it's laugh.
The evil laugh. I just hate it because I laugh with you when it
It's
happens.
such an evil laugh. Like, there's this laugh that I do that when I'm telling a story and I'm very, very upset about the story that's being told, and I'm trying to prove a point, I start laughing. And it kind of goes a little something like this. Like, I'll be like, oh, yeah, and this and this. If that bitch ever.
Yeah.
It's like, that's a serious ass laugh. That's not even a funny laugh to me. So Rome knows me better than anyone when it comes to that laugh. So when I'm telling a story about something and I start laughing that way, I'm not sure if that means revenge or if that means I'm about to give these people a taste of their own medicine.
It's just like when I woke up today, I did not have any intentions on fucking anybody up.
Or anybody's life up.
I didn't plan.
Right.
But now you've given me something that's going to make me just change a whole lot of lives. It's going to make me reach out and touch somebody. And it's been a long time since I've had to do something like this. And this is going to be really fun for me.
So much fun.
This is going to be really fun for me. I'm kind of excited to know as to, will I go to jail? Will someone bail me out? Will I get away with it? Ooh, the suspense is killing me.
I can't wait for it to happen.
And then I can't wait to see the look on your face when you realize who you fucking with, my nigga.
Because I'm that bitch.
I am.
I'm that bitch where I'm that type of bitch where I will avoid being an asshole by all costs. I don't want to be an asshole. But if, in fact, you have taken me to the point where I need to be an asshole to you, I'm the type of asshole that I'm not going to hide. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to say I didn't do that. I'm going to say, how dare you say that? How dare you believe that? I'm literally going to sit in your face and I'm going to say, yes, that's exactly what happened. And I want to see the reaction on your face once I admit to it.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. You're very crafty, very witty. And my position on anytime there's a difficult situation like this is like, I'm going to be entertained by whatever the fuck's going to happen here. But I'm also on the sidelines just in case things get too out of control. I'm just going to be like, okay, do you tag me in, nigga? Like,
whenever you're ready.
Yeah. So it's like, I feel like whenever you have close friends, their beef becomes your beef in a sense, because you're not going to like stand by and watch someone like get at your friend. So I'm like partially entertained, partially on the sidelines waiting for shit to you know, if it's a 2-on-1, nigga, like I'm with you, dog.
I just love.
If it's a 2-on-1, you better know.
Nigga.
My whole day gonna get fucked up over some bullshit.
Bruh, all day. Same. What?
My day getting fucked up all day, son. It's nothing.
All day, the whole day.
I'm out here. I don't give a fuck if I fuck my day up, son. It's just a day. You know what I'm saying?
I got PTO. It ain't nothing.
Shit. I don't want to go to jail, man, but
I don't want to go to jail either.
Provided the right circumstance. I mean, shit happens.
Listen, a lot of the shit that I have.
Okay. So the point is, stay tuned. You may hear some interesting stories on See You in Rome in future episodes.
Yep. Coming soon.
Yeah. So all right. So I have 3 more topics.
Okay.
So I was sitting with one of my clients, and he was born in 1940 something.
Okay.
Dude, and I was shocked when I saw his driver's license and saw how old he was, because you could not tell. You could tell he was older.
Not melanin?
No, this was a white dude.
What?
Yeah.
That never happens.
He aging like wine and not like milk. Glory to God.
Glory to God. Won't he do it?
I'm just like, I've heard this from a lot of elderly people, and I want to know your thoughts on this. But I've heard the key to a lot of people living a long life is to keep working. That the moment that they retire and stop working, that increases their chance of dying.
I agree with that. Well, I definitely understand that way of thinking, because there's actually a older lady that I work worked with in another department. Miss Carolyn, shout out to you. Not that she's gonna listen, but whatever.
Miss Carolyn, give us all your tips on anal sex.
Whoa,
She's been around a long time.
she has. But
I'm
listen,
sure she's done it.
she's 70 years old.
Okay.
She is kicking it like no other. And she actually says that to me all the time. When I tell her, I'm like, Miss Carolyn, like, when are you going to be ready to just be home? To just, like, rest and do your own thing and not have to come here every morning and all this and that. And she tells me, she says, baby, I'm not ready to stay home. I'm like, why? She's like, when you stay home and you retire and you have nothing to do, you find yourself getting sicker. You find yourself going quicker. She's like, everyone that I've ever known dies shortly after they retire.
I feel like there's some truth to this. I mean, I always find a way to get into spiritual and purpose talk that just that is surrounded by like the whole purpose driven life dynamic. Correct. Right? Mm-hmm. And I just feel like even if it's subconsciously, if you're in a situation where purpose has been removed from your life, then it's like subconsciously it's like, what am I living for?
Yeah.
And that promotes death, that promotes illness, which often leads to death. So I don't know, it gave me something to think about because while my goal is to retire early and to become extremely wealthy one day, I mean, I have to find ways to keep working. This is why a lot of older people are like volunteers,
which I feel like that's a way to keep going. That's a way to keep going. You don't have to necessarily like quit your job and just be home all the time, but just volunteer 2-3 times a week and keep yourself motivated that way.
Since that was just a cute little snippet of a topic, do you want me to do another one? Okay. Because my last one's going to be kind of not bad, but a little more detailed.
Okay.
So this one is that, look, I hear comments about, I think I've talked about this on a previous episode, but I don't like when people say, oh, you just out here flipping burgers, or people feel like they're too good to work at McDonald's, or let me tell you something. Y'all need to motherfucking stop, because I personally have clients that work at the Dollar Tree, McDonald's. They work in multiple minimum wage jobs and they are taking care of their fucking families. Those of you who think you're too good to work these little fucking jobs, and this was already on a note, by the way. Okay. Those of you who think that you're too good to work these little bit of jobs, listen, any kind of money is better than zero. If you're working in an organization and you're starting at minimum wage, that doesn't mean that there aren't opportunities to advance. You can work yourself up to assistant manager, to manager, or, even find yourself somewhere else, or you could just work that job until you figure yourself out and find out what you're passionate about and what can earn you more dollars. Needless to say, I used to work at McDonald's, and I was at McDonald's the other day. And when I was there, I met this manager who's been working at McDonald's for many, many, many years, but he is a manager. He was my manager at the time I worked at McDonald's when I was 14 years old.
You did mention this.
And I saw him, and he does not fucking remember me. I was in my full fucking banker outfit. He was like, my lady, like, we were talking about some ways we could partner together and ways that I can engage with his new hires and things like that to make sure that I can help them with their direct deposit, all these different things. We had a really engaging conversation. I'm like, this nigga don't remember that he fired me because I didn't take the trash out. But the point is that life is so full circle. Like, I was at fucking McDonald's, my nigga. And not that I'm in the most amazing place in my life, but there's people that wish that they could be in your place. Evolve, you know what I mean? And that's the thing, we are constantly evolving, and you can constantly evolve too if you would just let yourself. If you would just open yourself up to learning, open yourself up to trying new things. I just don't like the fast food bad talk because I've done it. You know what I mean? I've done it. Like, I remember when I first was working at McDonald's, like I first started with summer youth. Those were always temporary summer jobs. So it was kind of like I didn't take those checks as seriously because there was no consistency. I knew when school started, I wasn't going to be working that anymore. Right. When I started working at McDonald's when I was like 14, 15 here in Florida, I was kind of like, okay, this is my own little money to buy my Jordans, buy whatever the fuck I want. When I moved back to New York and I started working at McDonald's, I'm out of order. I was at McDonald's in New York first, and then when I moved back here, then I started working at McDonald's again because McDonald's banned me. So, okay. So when I went to New York and started working at McDonald's, I got my first paycheck. It was $400 and something for 2 weeks. Because minimum wage back in the day was like $5 and something cents.
$5.75.
Okay. So I got my paycheck and I'm sitting in McDonald's with my dad. And I'm like, yo, what the fuck, man? I've been working for 2 weeks. Like, this is not enough money. And he said, hey, I don't want to hear that. He was like, there's people that support their families off this money.
That's true.
And I
That's
was like,
true.
damn, I'm over here thinking about Jordans and shit. I'm like, real talk. And then he forced me to put money in savings that he didn't want me blowing it all at the mall. Just that. Shouts out to you, Dad, for trying to do the right thing in my life. But the point is just like, stop shaming people for what they do for a living. Because there's a lot of niggas out here sitting on their ass ain't doing shit.
Yo, those are facts.
You know what I mean?
Those are facts.
I don't give a fuck if you got to flip burgers. Do what you have to do to provide for yourselves, to provide for your fucking families, man. It's just treat it like a fucking stepping stone. Okay?
Okay.
Stop fucking judging.
Don't judge these motherfuckers because they're working regardless.
And don't judge yourself and act like you too good.
Facts.
And that's all I got to say about that. I'm just saying because I've done it. I was never above that shit.
I feel you. I feel like a lot of people nowadays, okay. This is going to sound bad.
Okay.
This is going to make me sound like an old head. This is going to make me sound like a Joe Budden. I feel like a lot of the job options for this younger generation are more versatile than they were for us growing up.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning, I know a lot of girls that are a lot younger than us who, because they have been into this whole makeup trend that has been happening lately and consider themselves makeup artists, have gotten a lot of jobs in the industry, in like wedding, whatever the fuck you want to call it. And they get paid a big percentage of the wedding when they're doing the whole bridal party, when they're doing the bride, when they're doing all of that. They get paid like 15% of that wedding total, and that's a big amount.
Yeah.
So you're like 22, 23 years old making this amount of money. They don't really know what it's like to struggle and flip burgers. So they're the ones that are going to shit on the people that are flipping the burgers.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I think like it's like, at the end of the day, listen, you can lose that job and be the one flipping the burgers. You can lose all of that in a second. Listen, I can lose my shit tomorrow if I do something wrong and have to resort to flipping burgers because I got to support my kid. I got to pay my bills. And if that's what's going to get me by till I get something that's in the level that I want it to be, what the fuck am I supposed to do?
Yeah.
Don't knock nobody.
Yeah.
As I pour myself another glass of wine.
Yeah. Stop the fast food bashing. And you know what? I got something else to add.
Okay.
While you out here bashing fast food jobs and people who work them, I want you to think about that shit next time you pull through the drive-thru.
Oh,
because someone had to flip that burger. You know what I'm saying?
yeah. Even though they do have a lot of attitude sometimes,
It's okay.
they're angry.
But think about the ones that don't have attitudes.
You're right. Chick-fil-A, perfect example.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
All right. I have one more topic. I'm not sure who wants to go first. My topic involves business ideas that I know that I will never launch.
Go.
Okay. I'm in a nail salon minding my motherfucking business.
As usual.
And just getting a polish change. There's this dude getting a pedicure in a far back corner. Another guy comes in to get a manicure, but he's sitting maybe like a few rows away from the dude getting a pedicure. And I don't know if they knew each other already, but they were having a full-on conversation that the whole nail salon could hear. Now, I'm not mad, but as I'm getting my toenails done, I'm like, we are in a time and space where we can have two old heads shooting a shit like they're in a sports bar and a motherfucking nail salon.
Pretty much.
You know what I mean? So my thought is that business idea, right? Wouldn't it be great if there was like a nail salon that was catered to men? They could have like sports and shit on the TV. It doesn't have to have sparkly, glittery stuff. It could have more like man cave vibes, kind of like the Shave Cave.
Yeah.
Actually, Shave Cave should add this to their business, manis and petties, because you men need to take care of your fucking feet.
Word up.
God damn it.
Your size
Don't
12.
be ashamed to fucking pamper yourself like your feet. You walk on them every fucking day with your black ass, crusty ass, fucking callous
Oh my
ass
God,
fucking feet.
Ron, what the fuck?
Your fucking dead ass toenails that ain't getting enough oxygen because you're wearing thick ass socks and your pinky toe can't breathe, nigga.
Especially them athletes that have like
Ah!
fucked up toenails, bro.
I remember when I was a kid, my uncle didn't have no shoes on, and I somehow felt his foot, and I was like, Gilwan, what is that? And he was like, it's a callus, baby girl. Listen, don't think you less of a man if you get your feet done and get your hands done. It's self-care, and I feel like men deserve to have a space where they can go and be with they niggas
And not feel awkward about it.
and not feel awkward about
I
it.
agree.
This is the business idea that I am not going to start up.
Maybe like every few hours have a bitch come out the back in like a short, like booty short, like
Hooter
bikinis.
style?
Yeah, and come out, like ask you if you want something to drink, ask you if you want like some chicken wings after you have your manicure, and then you decide, if you want a good time with her or chicken wings.
Oh, shit. Okay, that's a different kind of business. But I just feel like I haven't seen that. That may exist.
I don't think I have either.
But if it does exist, it's not prominent. I feel like it is going to require some sort of cultural shift where men feel comfortable getting these things done.
In all honesty, I think it would still make money because a lot more men that we are aware of get their feet done, get manicures done. There's a lot, and especially the higher, what's the word I want to look for? Like the more money you make, the more celebrity you have, the more like men do that more often.
Yeah, the ones that earn more
Yeah.
tend to explore these different types of pampering
100%.
things. And it usually takes for someone else in the game to put them on to that, like, yo, you should try it. And that's why they
Yes.
try it.
Absolutely.
Or older people, I feel are more
Absolutely.
likely to do it. But here's the thing. I need this nail salon to also cater to women still, meaning that if a woman steps foot and wants to get a pedicure with her man,
They'll still take her.
you will still take her. I don't feel you should do full sets and all the acrylic-based stuff, but if she does want a manicure with maybe like a gel polish, you should do those basic things, but maybe not do any of the artificials.
I agree. I agree to all of that.
So somebody go start that shit.
You start that shit. You let us know if it pops off. And all we want is a thank you.
Yeah,
That's it. Take it. Run with it. Do as you will.
that's all I got.
I don't really have anything else, but we actually had, the last thing I have is that we actually had a coach, life coach, motivational speaker by the name of Coach John Holly on our show. And the title of that episode was Put Me in, Coach.
Yes.
And he actually recently got engaged.
Congratulations.
So I want to give a big congratulations to Mr. Coach John Holly for
Yes.
his engagement and his new endeavor in life.
Yes. Shout out to you.
Shout out to you.
New beginnings.
New beginnings, and may this come with all great and fabulous things for you.
We are extremely happy for you.
Yes, absolutely.
I hope we get invited to the wedding.
I hope so.
But if we don't, I understand.
I don't.
I understand because you may want to have like a nice, fun wedding that's full of non-ratchet energy.
I don't bring ratchet all the time.
Yeah, but all it takes is for one wrong thing to happen and a few drinks and seal. Come on, let's be real.
Okay. All right. I understand.
That's the truth.
That is the truth.
That is the truth.
That is the truth.
But if we can have a conversation about how we promise to be on our best behavior and how we'll walk away from any fucked up situation that requires the then, we'd love to join you and shower you with a gift or whatever.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, I thought the show would be a lot longer than it has been. I want to thank you guys so much for rocking with us. This is year 2 of the CO in Rome podcast. For those of you who haven't picked up in previous episodes, we will be visiting New York City, spending a lot of our time in Queens and Manhattan for quite a few days in a couple of weeks. If you're interested in learning dates and are in the area, just DM us because we ain't trying to let a nigga know exactly, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's true.
So just hit us up and we will love to connect with some of you creatives, all right?
Yep. We will see you guys on the flip side.
All right, see you around. Bye.